it going? And welcome back to Damian Reacts. Happy Tuesday. Don't mind my hair right now. It's doing whatever it wants right now. 3 very scary true summer night horror stories. This came out a couple weeks ago by Mr. Nightmare. I just never got to it yet. Starting. And I feel like summer nights are like the best. Like I love like just going outside in the car, you know, arms out the window. Like it's just nice. Like I love summertime. And then I do that at nighttime too, because obviously at nighttime it's even better too, because then it's a bit cooler, but it's still hot, and it just feels nice. I don't know, guys. Just summer nights are just nice, you know what I mean? Like way better than fucking winter or anything. So summer nights are just a vibe, you know what I mean? I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that as well. So just like the nice weather, parties, festivals, that's just nice. Everyone being outside, partying, it's a good time, okay? But apparently these 3 stories are not a good time. So we're gonna see what happens in these 3 stories. Sorry for the delay in this video. I know it's been a while. 24 minutes, 28 seconds. I'm probably gonna get interrupted at some point. So just heads up. Oh, okay. Hello. Chris Duran. Okay.
My name is Chris. This happened years ago, and it's something I actually forgot about until recently.
Okay.
I was 17 that summer, working nights at a pizza place on the outskirts of my childhood hometown. I wasn't thrilled with it, but with no money and 2 parents who would have killed me for being unemployed, I couldn't complain. It was one of those jobs you take because nothing else is hiring. Slow shifts, sticky uniforms, and a beat-up delivery car that barely made it up hills. At least I didn't have to drive my own car. That would have sucked. Oh yeah, not that this is super relevant, but I do want to mention that the pizza was god-awful, like genuinely terrible. I couldn't understand, actually I still don't understand, why anyone in their right mind would order from that spot. If not for the technology and relatively nice atmosphere it provided, I honest to God don't think we ever would have gotten a single order. That place is definitely the thing I miss the least about my childhood hometown, and that's saying something. The one saving grace about working there was that because the pizza was so bad, or because the place itself was so far away from our downtown, or maybe a combination of the two, people rarely ordered from us, so most nights were dead quiet.
In a sense that's good, but then you also want some busyness, because like if you're slow at work, then it's just kind of boring. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm not going to bore you with the mundane details about how my nights typically unfolded. It was a pizza place. I'm sure you could fill in the blanks yourself.
Yeah.
One night, I was restocking the fridge with drinks when the tablet buzzed with an online order. Large sausage and olive pizza. I remember that distinctly because we never got olives. The address was out in the middle of nowhere, past the edge of our delivery zone, and I remember getting ready to
I literally have a pizza right here. Just have a pizza right here with me. In my bed. Because where else would it go, right?
reject it out of habit. But before I could, our delivery zone, and I remember the address was out in the middle of nowhere, past the edge of our delivery zone, and I remember getting ready to reject it out of habit. But before I could, my manager, this 30-something guy named Russell, who mostly sat in the back scrolling through Reddit, looked over and told me to take it, saying we hadn't had a single run in over an hour. I didn't argue, so when the pizza was ready, I typed in the directions on my phone and grabbed the pie. At least it would kill 30 or 40 minutes.
Yeah, exactly, kill some
As I
time.
was about to leave the store and walk to the car, I looked a little more carefully at the delivery instructions Russell had printed and stapled to the box, which I hadn't paid attention to until then.
Is this actually the receipt? I feel like it would actually be like more, you know, not like this.
They said, and I remember this word for word, park on the street behind the house, walk through the backyard, knock on the back door only. That caught my attention a bit, but my 17-year-old...
Knock on the bark. Back door only. It says knock on the bark. Am I tripping? That says bark. That does not say back. That says back. That does not say back.
brain thought of several rational reasons why someone might not want me to use the front door. Maybe they didn't want to wake an old person or a young child in the house. Maybe the front door of their house was being renovated. Maybe they wanted to hide the delivery from a parent or spouse. It really could have been any number of things.
Yeah.
Plus, all I could think about was how slow the night was, and how much longer it was going to feel if I sat around folding boxes. So I just decided to do my job. But the second I stepped outside, I started having second thoughts. It was one of those summer nights that felt like walking through soup, hot, humid, and completely still. Like
Yeah.
even the air was stuck in some kind of invisible jelly. I don't know if this will make sense, but there's this stale, sour smell you get when it's really humid and still out.
Not really, but like trust. I've had some really humid like, conditions. We've actually had some recently, and it's like it's really sticky, and the air is just like boiling. Like it's just like you go outside into an oven. It's crazy. I don't really remember any smells. It's just I don't know.
Sort of like old plastic and sun-baked dirt.
Huh.
That's what it smelled like out there.
Okay.
I hate that smell more than anything, but it was unavoidable. I had the windows down for maybe 2 minutes before giving up and blasting the AC. The delivery address wasn't in the direction of downtown. It was actually in the exact opposite direction, even though the pizza place itself was already kind of in the middle of nowhere. The drive was supposed to take just over 25 minutes, but it felt longer because of how empty the roads were. I'm definitely exaggerating a bit. It's not like there were no houses for miles, but it was much less dense the further I drove. When I finally got to the address, I realized I was coming up behind the house. The GPS had routed me along this skinny little side street that ran parallel to a set of backyards. There weren't any street lights, and the houses didn't have back porch lights either.
Great.
It was all shadows. I remember slowing down and double checking the house number because it looked totally dead. There were no lights inside and no cars in the driveway.
I hate that.
Just this sagging backyard with overgrown grass and a rickety wooden fence that didn't even close all the way. But still, I followed the instructions. I parked right there on the gravel shoulder, grabbed the pizza, and walked up the incline toward the back door.
Is it a setup?
I had the pizza in one hand and my flashlight in the other, angling it down toward my feet so I wouldn't trip on anything. When I got to the top of the hill, I saw the back door. It was one of those old white ones with a small pane of glass at the top covered by a cheap curtain. I knocked and waited, but no one answered. I knocked a second time, knowing that my manager would be livid if I returned to the store empty-handed. After no response, I was about to knock a third time when I saw the curtain move. Not a lot, just this tiny little twitch, like someone brushed it with their finger. It was fast, and I don't think I would have even noticed if I hadn't been staring at the glass. I stood there for another few seconds, expecting the person who was clearly standing right behind the door to finally open up. But before that happened, I noticed two unmarked cars pull up to the side street behind my car.
Oh no.
My first thought was that I was about to get in trouble for trespassing or something.
No. It's a
One of the
setup.
car doors opened, and someone stepped out. Even from the house, I could make out that it was a man in the light of the other car's headlights. The guy motioned for me to walk over to him, which is what I did, assuming that he had ordered the pizza and that I had beaten him home from work or something. But as I got closer, I realized he was flashing me something in his hand. It was a badge. The guy was an undercover police officer, which I
I don't believe it.
was able to ascertain because he wasn't wearing a uniform, just normal clothes. As soon as I got within a certain distance of him, he told me to head back to my car and wait there. That was it. That's all he said. So I did. I backed away slowly, climbed into the delivery car, and sat there watching.
No, but can't you see that he's holding a pizza like to make a delivery? Like you're not parked there. Like you're just basically stopped to deliver a pizza. I get that it's illegal, but it's like I'm not parked here. Like I'm not parking here and leaving. I'm just dropping off a pizza, which I thought would take 25 seconds. Pizza, money, thank you, bye. That's it, done. You know what I mean? I didn't expect to be fucking waiting here, but this guy's gonna be part of the horse trade. This guy ain't a cop. Calling it right now. He is not a cop.
That's when I realized there weren't just two officers. There were 5, maybe more. All of them had flashlights, but none of them said a word. They moved stealthily, circling the house like they were trying not to be seen.
What?
Not one of them knocked or announced their presence, which I found strange. It was a pretty bizarre sight. I remember one of the officers reaching for the back door handle, the same one I had just knocked on, and gently trying it. When it didn't open, he just nodded at one of the other guys and backed off. It felt like I was watching something I wasn't supposed to see.
Right.
I guess I was. Eventually, the first officer came back to my car and crouched beside the window. I rolled it down, and he looked over the pizza box on the passenger seat and let out this short sigh. He was relatively vague with what he told me.
I'm gonna try to guess. I feel like either these actually are undercover cops and they actually are not here to like kill this pizza driver. He's still alive, obviously, so I'm assuming that didn't happen, but maybe the guy that he's delivering the pizza to is like a criminal and then there's actually undercover cops like trying to get this man, maybe?
But he didn't seem like a tool, just that he was trying not to say too much. Basically, he said that there was an ongoing investigation involving that property, and that he, along with the rest of the officers, were staking it out. He apologized for taking so long to intervene, and told me that I had pulled up the exact time they were repositioning their vehicles. I asked if he wanted to see the delivery order, and he nodded. I pulled it up on the delivery app, but I could tell it was useless. There was an associated phone number with the order, along with the delivery address and the first name, Jerry, but it didn't seem particularly helpful. The officer read it, took the number down, and told me to leave immediately. I expressed my frustration to him, saying that my boss was going to kill me for returning with the pizza, and the guy just shrugged his shoulders. Then he repeated his instruction for me to leave, and started walking away from the car. I was pissed, but there was nothing I could do, so I drove off. It took me the entire ride back for the whole thing to sink in. I didn't really grasp the gravity of the situation until stepping out of the car. If the police hadn't intervened when they did, something awful could have happened. I don't even know what. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that the threat of the police was probably the only reason the person didn't open the door to accept the pizza. But why would someone order a pizza if they were being staked out?
Yeah.
Maybe the person inside the house didn't know they were being watched. Or maybe they did, and I was part of some test run. Like, maybe I was the bait to see if the cops were watching that side of the house. Or if they left. The curtain moving, the silence, the timing, I don't know. What I do know is that I will never get an explanation for what happened, and thinking back to this incident is mostly a waste of time. I probably would have forgotten all about this if one of my high school friends hadn't brought it up the other week. I didn't even remember it at first. It's probably best I forget about it again, but I figured I'd share it here before that happens.
I don't know, it's weird because they were saying that the first name that they were delivering to was Jerry. Now the story is by Jerry. Maybe it's the same Jerry. But yeah, maybe I don't know. I feel like this one was like interesting because I was like, they're not cops. But then I was like, wait a second. There's 5 cops now? And I was like, wait, they're all going to the house, they're all investigating. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's so weird. That's when I was kind of like, okay, maybe that they're actually cops. But at first I was like, yeah, one cop. Just, I'm the cop, okay? Yeah, sure you were. Because again, we've seen a lot of fake cop horror stories. And that's honestly terrifying. Like, you actually think that you have some trust in this person because, like, you think they're a cop, and then they're just like, get out, motherfucker. I don't know. So, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is my hair doing? Like, this is embarrassing. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I don't know what's going on. It was fine yesterday. After I showered, it was fine, and now it's just all fucked up, so whatever. Jerry, I'm just gonna hide my hair and do this, maybe.
This happened just last year. I'm 40 now, married with 2 boys, ages 7 and 5.
Okay.
I work in insurance, which sounds boring because it is. But we're stable, and that's all I care about at this point in life. A couple years ago, my dad passed away after a long bout with cancer. He left behind a beach house down in Delaware that I had never been to before because he used to rent it out year-round. It's nothing flashy or big, but it's in a fantastic spot, just 1 block off the boardwalk. My favorite part about it by far is the upstairs back deck that provides a really nice view of the ocean.
That would be so
We
nice.
started going there every summer after he passed, using it as our escape. A week here, weekend there, it became our little family tradition. As much as my wife and I love spending time there, the boys love it even more. They'll spend hours on end playing on the beach, riding bikes, and exploring the town.
Which is good. I've heard that's great for kids. Like, to be outside, be enjoying the weather, you know what I mean? Because, like, again, summer is just a great time to enjoy the weather. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's obviously the best time to enjoy the weather. That's the only time to enjoy the weather. In the winter, you can obviously go outside, but it's not as good, obviously. So yeah, that's great. It's good that they're out, that they want to be outside. I'm saying, and that they're not like wanting to be inside playing video games all day, right? So it's obviously really good.
It feels like a gift, something my dad left behind for us to enjoy. This story takes place during one of those weeks last summer. We'd gone down in mid-July, a Sunday through Friday kind of thing, when the crowds would thin out midweek and the beach was a little quieter. I remember the night clearly. It was a Wednesday. The boys had knocked out around 9:30 after a long day in the sun, and my wife and I were sitting on the back deck playing cards and sipping wine. That's when our older son, Jordan, came outside. He had this uneasy look on his face. He told me he kept hearing a scratching noise in his room, and it was keeping him awake. I glanced at my wife, then set my glass down and stood up, telling him I'd go check it out. I told my wife to hang tight. I figured it was probably just generic house sounds. It is a pretty old house after all.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna jump to like the most unrealistic. Like, oh my god, someone's in the house. Like that's not that realistic in my opinion.
The boys don't share a room, so I figured there was no need to wake our younger one. I followed Jordan downstairs to his room, and he pointed to the wall near his bed and motioned for me to be quiet. We both stood there for a while, and I didn't hear anything at first, but I didn't want him to think I didn't believe him, so I stood there a little while longer. After maybe 20 seconds, I finally heard it. Faint at first, but definitely there. A soft scratching sound, just like he had described. I crouched down and pressed my ear to the wall. It didn't sound like an animal up in the rafters or anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say like an animal. Like it's not a person in your walls, is it? How does that even make sense?
It sounded like it was coming from inside the wall, lower down and closer to the baseboards. That's when I heard it. Breathing. Not an animal, definitely not. It was deep, slow, human breathing. I flinched back and let out a sharp Jesus without even meaning to. And then, I'm not kidding about this, I heard the most guttural and angry scream I've ever heard ring out from somewhere inside the wall.
Oh my god.
It caught me so off guard that I yelled out again, a feeling of existential dread hitting me right in the face. I grabbed Jordan by the arm and yanked him out of the room. We ran down the hall to get my younger son, Scott, who was still sound asleep. I didn't even give him a chance to open his eyes. I just scooped him up in my arms and ran. I needed to get back upstairs to the deck where my wife was. That was the only other thing on my mind at that point. As we reached the base of the stairs, I yelled for her, and then I heard another scream come from somewhere behind me, only much closer this time.
Oh fuck.
I turned around and saw a man, covered in filth, charging down the hallway straight at us.
Oh fuck.
I nearly tripped trying to get up the stairs with both my sons.
What the fuck did this bitch come from? I don't even understand. Where the fuck did you come from, bro? Get the fuck out of my house.
But we made it upstairs and onto the deck just in time.
Holy shit.
Not 2 seconds after I slammed the sliding door shut, the guy hit the glass full force. I genuinely thought it would shatter. He started clawing at the door like an animal, shrieking and pounding, all the while yelling things I can't bring myself to repeat.
Oh my god.
I threw my body against the door, yelled at my wife to grab the kids and call the police. She grabbed them and covered their ears, pulling them back from the scene.
Like bro, like imagine being the wife, like you're just chilling. Like oh I hear a noise, okay, yeah, you know what, yeah, wife, I'll be back in 2 minutes, it'll be nothing. Freaking comes back freaking running, call the police, like oh my god, that's such an escalation.
I kept my eyes on his, trying to block the view of him from my family. He was wild, completely unhinged. His hands smeared something. Dirt, blood, I don't even know. He smeared it across the glass as he banged and tried to force the door open.
Oh my god.
I don't know how long I held it shut. A minute, 5, it felt like forever. He seemingly had unlimited energy, because it took all my strength to keep that door shut, and he didn't let up once.
W dad though.
All I could think about was protecting my family.
W dad.
I was fully prepared to fight the guy if the glass broke. But before that happens, the police finally showed up.
Thank god.
They must have come around the side, because within seconds, I saw 2 officers inside the house running at the guy who was still banging on the door.
Excellent.
One of the officers tackled him from behind.
Oh shit.
And the other one helped restrain him. The rest of the night was a blur. After getting that guy out of my house and in the back of a police car, the officers asked me for my version of things, which I told them. Together, the 3 of us inspected the house to try and assess how that man had been inside the walls.
Make sure there's no
How
one
he
else
had
in
gotten
there.
out so quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
Turns out, the house has a crawl space I didn't know about. There's an entrance underneath the back porch that you wouldn't know was there unless you were looking.
Oh my goodness.
From there, it leads into a standing crawl space that runs alongside the foundation and has a second access point through a loose panel in Jordan's closet. I had no idea it was there. I'd never done a full inspection of the house when I'd inherited it. Hell, I didn't even bother refinishing it. A few days later, I got more information from a detective who called to follow up. He told me the
Which I feel like is rare. I feel like police never follow up with you.
perpetrator admitted that he'd been staying in the crawl space for months, that he had discovered the crawl space entrance during the off-season, and was planning to harm my family that night for intruding on his, quote, new home. Apparently, the guy had been stealing food from both our house, which we somehow didn't notice.
Bro, fuck you, bro. You harm my family because you're intruding on my house. This is my house. The fuck you mean this is your house? Get the fuck out of here.
In our neighbor's trash bins. We didn't go back for the rest of the summer, not out of fear of something else happening, but out of trauma. I didn't want to bring my wife or kids back there for a while, and they didn't object. I hired a crew to seal off the crawl space completely, and once that was done, I was finally able to relax a little. We've been using the house again this summer, and I'm glad to say that things are back to normal, or at least as close to it as we're gonna get.
Oh, here comes the anonymous story, bro. I don't even know what to say, bro. Like, I feel like I'm at a loss for words. Like, that just escalated so fast. Like, jeez, man. Like, I remember hearing stuff in my walls, but that was because there was, like, a wasp's nest in my house. Like, literally just in my fucking walls. Like, you would put your ear to it, bzz, 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 and I was like, holy shit. I call some bee person in, they come and do stuff with it. And I was like, yeah, they're still here. Can you come again? They come again. I haven't heard them since, so I guess they got rid of them. But fuck, I don't like bees. I don't like wasps. I think it was all wasps too. Like if it was bees, that's one thing. But like bees are actually important. Wasps are just fucking assholes. I guess wasps are needed too, but it's just like they fucking sting you for no fucking reason. So you know what? They can fuck themselves. Story number 3. Sorry, 3. Anonymous. I can't wait for the comments of this video too. To be honest with you guys.
I grew up in a kind of rural area where you could ride your bike for miles without seeing another person.
Damn.
Like a lot of
I would
people,
not like that.
my favorite season was always summer.
Yep.
It still is, actually, but it's been a while since I lived out in the country, so summer's lost a little bit of its charm. A lot of what made summer so special to me is tied to life in the middle of nowhere. There was something about the warmth, quiet, and emptiness I loved.
I wouldn't, bro. I'd be nervous. Like if you're the only house for like miles, I'd be like, yeah, well, someone's probably gonna break into my house at some point, or something's bad's gonna happen. At least if you have a house here, like I do, then it's like at least, I'm not saying you're protected by any means, but it's just like, I don't want to jinx anything either, so I'm not going to say anything, but at least there's people around, you know what I mean?
Something I could never find in the city. It's hard to explain, but I just felt so isolated, but in a good way. Like I had my own little corner of the earth, all to myself.
You do you, bro.
Like I could disappear for hours and no one would know. Summer nights were always the best. The darkness added to the feeling of privacy and freedom that the little girl I used to be craved. I was 16 at the time. I had a friend back then named Taylor. She was a little more reckless than me, always pushing the limits in small ways. One random night in July, we decided to go stargazing.
Okay.
Just us, 2 bikes, and a bottle of wine. It wasn't the first time we had done something like this.
At 16? Damn.
Actually, it's something we did quite often. That is, until what I'm about to tell you happens. Come to think of it, this was probably one of the last times we went stargazing together. We didn't have a specific plan, just a direction. We wanted to go somewhere new, since the old spots were getting a little repetitive. Taylor said she knew a good spot past the edge of town, some abandoned stretch of farmland where nobody ever would bother us.
Yeah, that's great.
It was sometime around 10 o'clock when we left. I'm not sure how long we biked, maybe 20 minutes, maybe 30, but we didn't stop until we were past anything even remotely civilized. At some point, Taylor just stopped her bike abruptly and told me we were here. I wasn't really sure what here meant, since there were no descriptive landmarks around, but it still felt perfect. Wide open field, no buildings, no fences, no cows, just a huge patch of grass and the endless starry sky. We spread out a blanket and popped the cork with the little opener Taylor had somehow remembered to bring.
Yeah, in the middle of the night, pitch black. You're the only 2 people there, or you think that you're the only 2 people there. What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Nothing, right?
It was some cheap red wine that didn't taste all that good, but it did the job. We laid there for a while, passing the bottle back and forth, pointing out the few constellations we remembered by name. Our goal on nights like this was always the same: try and spot a shooting star. At one point, Taylor asked me if I thought we'd actually see one, and I told her probably not, but to keep looking anyway. They're not as uncommon out in the country where you can see so many stars, but you still have to pay attention. Shooting star or not, though, we were having a great night. The wine was definitely doing its job, and I started feeling myself slipping into drunkenness. It was the kind of night that made you feel like time didn't exist, kind of like what I was talking about earlier. This isn't super relevant to the story, but it's one of the few things I remember about the night, so I'm going to quickly tell you anyway. There was a very brief moment that felt like a blip in the rhythm of the night. We were leaning back, and Taylor looked at me in this way that made me wonder if she wanted something more than friendship. Growing up, I always had that suspicion about her, but it was never motivated by anything more than curiosity. But that night, it felt a little stronger than I could recall it ever being. I didn't ask, didn't say anything. That kind of thing just wasn't talked about openly where we grew up. And besides, maybe I was just tipsy and reading too into things. Either way, it passed. We laughed about something dumb she said, and then looked up just in time to catch a shooting star streak across the sky. If anyone has ever seen a shooting star, they know the uncontrollable reaction it elicits. Like, you just can't help but laugh or shout something out into the night. The two of us giggled, and Taylor told me to make...
I don't think I'd laugh. I'd be like, oh shit, there's a shooting star, make a wish. It's like, I would laugh, ha ha ha, like, what? I don't get it. But I've never seen a shooting star before, so, or not that I remember at least.
Make a wish. I don't remember what it was, probably something silly. We leaned back and talked for a few more minutes, our moods a little uplifted from seeing the shooting star. I closed my eyes for a moment, not to fall asleep, just to feel the breeze on my face for a second and settle further into the stillness.
I love the night summer breeze, it's so good.
I swear on my life, my eyes were not closed for more than 5 seconds. But when I opened them, Taylor was gone. Like, gone. Not just off to pee or fiddling with her phone. She was actually gone.
I'm sorry,
which I could tell from the fact that both she and her bike were nowhere in sight, even though mine was still sitting right next to the blanket. I sat up fast, thinking maybe she was messing with me. But even after turning a full 360, I couldn't see her. In that moment, I felt this unexplainable feeling of fear wash over me. The empty field I was sitting in suddenly felt suffocating, and the gentle charm of the night was replaced by panic.
Yep.
The stars looked dimmer. That's the part I can't forget. The sky was still there, but it felt off, like someone had turned the brightness down or smeared something over it. And the air felt colder, too. Not like it had cooled naturally, but like I stepped into a different version of the same place. I know I'm not making any sense, but like I said, the feeling was unexplainable. I pulled out my phone to check the time. It was 3 a.m. exactly. That timestamp is burned into my memory, and probably will be forever.
So you're there for 5 hours? Damn, bro.
I had to blink a few times to make sure my mind wasn't playing tricks on me. It hadn't even been midnight just a few minutes ago. I kept staring at the time on my phone, wondering if I had somehow fallen asleep. I knew I hadn't, but I couldn't be sure.
Did one of you guys make a wish or something? Like, what happened? Did you wish that your friend would just, like, disappear? I don't understand. Did you wish that 3 hours would have passed by? I don't get it.
Did Taylor really leave me there all alone, though, even if I had fallen asleep? There was no way.
Right.
She wouldn't have done that in a million years. I stood up, spun around, and called her name a bunch of times, but she didn't answer.
I'd be terrified.
I didn't know what to think. The only logical explanation was that she had ditched me for some reason. Maybe she'd gotten annoyed or wandered off and left me passed out, but I couldn't figure out why. We hadn't argued, and the vibe had been good. Really good, honestly. I called her phone a bunch of times, too, but those were unanswered as well. After that, I started crying. I mean, can you really blame me? I didn't know what else to do. I grabbed my bike and started pedaling back towards my house, trying not to panic. That ride felt like it took forever.
I don't even know what to say to that. Like, that's just like your best friend. Like, did she like you're gonna overthink? Like, you're gonna think, oh my god, is she mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Like, what happened? Is she okay? Why would she leave me here? Is she mad at me? Like, what's like the million thoughts run through your head? I can't even imagine that, to be honest, bro. That's scary.
It was probably the scariest I'd ever felt on a bike. I didn't stop until I made it back to my driveway, completely out of breath and still not understanding what had just happened. I went to sleep immediately. The next day, I texted Taylor first thing in the morning, expecting an apology or at least an explanation, but instead, she demanded one from me. She asked me word for word, where the hell did you go last night? I told her what I remembered, how I'd woken up alone at 3 a.m. and assumed she'd left me, but then she hit me with the thing that made me send the story in. She said she was the one who had woken up alone at 3 a.m., and I was the one who was gone.
What?
She waited for me for over an hour, then biked home angry and confused, assuming I'd gotten annoyed and left her there. According to her, I just vanished, and I was just as convinced the same thing happened in reverse. We went in circles for a bit, trying to piece it together, but nothing added up. Neither of us had memory gaps beyond that moment. Neither of us had texts or calls or anything that could help reconstruct what actually happened. Even though both of us swore remembering calling each other after waking up, none of those missed calls were in either of our phone logs. Eventually, we dropped it. Or at least, we stopped talking about it. but I think both of us were far more terrified than we wanted to admit. I know I was. For months, I'd find myself lying in bed, looking out my window at the stars and remembering that night. Taylor and I didn't stargaze much after that night, maybe once or twice. In a sense, things did go back to normal. We continued living our lives, and that was that. But even now, I still have no explanation for anything that happened that night. I wouldn't call myself superstitious or a believer in the paranormal, but everyone I tell this story to immediately attribute it to something unnatural. And maybe they're right, but I really don't like thinking about that. I do consider the possibility that she simply lied to me. Either way, I get a really unsettled feeling, like something happened to us that night that I'll potentially never figure out for as long as I live. I haven't heard from Taylor for years, but I bet my life on the fact that she too still wonders from time to time about what happened to us that summer night in the field.
Like, what did you guys wish? I feel like that's what you guys kind of have to ask each other. Like, I don't think the wish came true, obviously, because that's not really how it works. Like, oh yeah, I wish I was this. Boom, it happens. No, it's not gonna work. But it's just like, that's the only thing I can think of. Like, did you guys wish something? Like, did you guys, like, secretly wish? Can my friend just disappear and then she just disappeared? Like, I don't even understand. Comments, the one I was most excited for, and I wasn't interrupted yet. Good job, family. Ordering a sausage olive pizza is scarier than all of these stories combined. Yeah, that sounds kind of gross. Sausage and olives? No. Like, just sausage? Sure, but olives? No, ew. That's just me. Mad props to the dad in the second story for listening to his son's concerns. That part. A lot of dads would just brush it off. Also, props to him for protecting his family from the deranged intruder. Yeah, honestly, yeah, that was a W dad. Like, right away sprung into action. That was great. Don't drink that cheap wine no more. Oh yeah, true, you guys were drunk, right? I totally forgot that you guys were drunk or something, right? So I feel like that obviously did something to you, or maybe, like, I don't know, she either... Did they drug each other? Like, I don't even know what to think. Like, that's really confusing. Like, I don't know what to say about that at all. The dad in the second story continuing to listen because he didn't want the son to think he didn't believe him is so refreshing compared to the usual. My dad told me I need to grow up and locked me out of his room. Yeah, that'd be pretty fucked up. And then to find out that your son died or got harmed because of some fucking pervert on the walls, I wonder how you'd feel then. Is a hero. Not only did he believe his son, instead of just saying, "Oh, you're just imagining things," like a lot of parents do in these stories, he beat up his kids and ran outside, shut the door closed to keep his family safe from a lunatic who probably would have hurt them really easily. Judah's awesome. Yeah, he was honestly a W. Wait, I forgot. I skipped. My mouse has freaking possessed itself. Gave me chills. There really are things we can't explain, which makes no sense. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, there has to be a logical explanation, right? Or is that just not a thing anymore? Sent chills down my spine, being out in the middle of nowhere and having my friend leave me without an explanation reminds me of that first 4th of July story, but 10 times scarier. Truly the most scariest one, how a random potential homeless dude was living in the walls and screamed while he charged at Jerry. Yeah, that bomb's fucking terrifying, bro. Like, you're just chilling, like, enjoying a night. Like I just said, it went from 1 to 100 like really quick. The third story is the best I've heard in a while. Scary, mysterious. I've had unexpected situations like the one in the story. Losing my left AirPod in my room and never finding it. Hearing my parents con me and my little brother, but then they tell us they were never even calling us. What? I feel like you're just imagining stuff sometimes. I feel like your brain really plays tricks on you sometimes. Third story is so eerie, gave me goosebumps. I don't even know what to think of that story. Like, do I even think that's even real? Like, what the fuck was that last story? This is mind-boggling. How the fuck does that even happen? Last one was so spooky. I remember sitting in a dark room with my friends and hearing these stories in middle school now, but to head off to college. Love everything you've done on this channel, bro. Keep grinding. It's either BS or something real freaky deaky is going on. Yeah, it could just be a liar. It could just be literally anything. Wait, what? Oh my god, I'm Taylor from the third story. She sent me a text the other day saying she had shared our story. Guys, I'm not Taylor. Fuck you. Fuck you, bro. Fuck you. Bitch ass. People are actually asking questions? Oh, I guess. Guys, I'm not Taylor, so I guess before... Okay, that makes sense. I love how story 2 is told by a guy named Jerry, the exact name of the guy who ordered pizza. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is this Jerry from the first story, or what? Is this the weirdo from the story number 1, or what? Story 3 is the last comment, or last 2 comments. I gotta go to bed. Story 3 is interesting. I wonder if it could be sleepwalking. I know the others said that she closed her eyes only for a second, but maybe the drinking made her pass out without realizing. I don't know what else it could be, but that's pretty creepy. Yeah, like for the both to say that you left me at 3 a.m., it's like, what are the odds that both of them wake up at 3 a.m.? Like, not only that one of you wakes up at 3 a.m. randomly, but both of you wake up at 3 a.m., and then the other's gone, but you're still there? That makes no sense. You're in the same spot, lying next to each other. They're here, you're not. You're here, they're not. What? That makes no sense to me. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. If you guys have any explanations for that one, please let me know in the comments down below. I think that was pretty fucked up, but I also think story 2 was also really fucked up. Story 1 was also mysterious because it's kind of like, what happened in story 1? Like, did the guy like really just nearly escape death or something? Like, did he like nearly just escape something? Or... And then again, story 2 is fucking horrifying. Like, a sign in my fucking walls? I fucking hope not, bro. Come on, bro. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like, comment down below, be sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Deuces.